Hi guys, it's Mr. Corzine here. I'm going to go through another round of notes with you, solving percent problems. I'm hoping that you guys will find this to be a review. Um, I, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of new things in this topic. Again, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this way, letting you guys view it on your own. My goal for you is that you'll get the notes done here in class today, and then also have time to finish your homework before you leave for the weekend. That's the plan, so let's go ahead and get started. Here, this is a review on making sure that you can change your fractions into decimals. As long as you remember the fraction bar is, it means division, it means divide, then you're in good shape. So if you take 4 divided by 5, you're going to get a 0.8. 1 3/8, that's a different story. You're going to have the whole number 1, and then you're going to have 3 divided by 8. And if I pull up my calculator here, I should get 1.375. Moving on down to number 3, 7 out of 100, 7 divided by 100, or 7/100ths, has the same name as the decimal. So 0.07. That decimal actually has the name 7/100ths. That's what the same as our fraction. And then finally 117 over 100, you could use your calculator, or you could simplify that down, break that into a mixed number, but this becomes 1.171 and 1700ths. Moving on, write each percent as a decimal. Again, we've got some things that we need to remember. The most important thing is that percent means out of 100. It's very specific. Whenever we have 8%, it's 8/100ths, so 0.08, like that. Another thing that people do is they take the decimal point that's here, and when you change it into a decimal form, you move it back 2 spaces to the left. The decimal point is here, so it's 0.08. We'll do the same thing here with 186%. We'll move it back 2 places, so it becomes 1.86. Finally, we want to rate each of these percents as a reduced fraction. So 3.5%, remember percent means out of 100, we go like this, 3.5 over 100. We can't keep it like this and have a decimal with our inside of our numerator. So I'm going to double this to become 7 over 200. And that's about as far as I can go. This can't be reduced. The 7 and 200 don't have any common factors besides 1. So that's the best we can do there. 210% is going to be 210 out of 100. We simplify that down. We can divide the top and bottom by 10. So we can get 21 over 10. And then if you make it into a mixed number, it becomes 2 and 1/10. We'll keep going. Now we're going to use a proportion to solve the problem. Here, they're asking what is 35% of 80. What I'll ask when you're setting up a proportion, there's a pattern that you can follow, and there are some clue words here. If I set up my 2 equivalent ratios, I'm going to look for some clue words. Is over of equals a percent out of 100. Whenever I set up a proportion to solve a percentage problem like this, I can look for those clue words. So in this problem in particular, I'll show you what I mean by that. What number is 35% of 100? I'm going to set up my new proportion, and I will say I'm going to look for this of number right here. It's out of, so that would be like out of a total. So down here in the bottom left is my of number, so I'm going to put 80 down here in the bottom left. See how that corresponds with of? They're asking us what number is, so we don't know. We'll call that x. And then here's the really easy part. I have a percentage, so I know that goes here. And it's always, a percent is always out of 100, so I can always fill that in. Now all I have to do is take and use my cross products. 80 times 35 is equal to x times 100, and I'll let you guys use your calculator to solve that one. Again, I'm going to do another one here. Is over of equals percent out of 100. 30 is, when I set up my proportion, 30 is my top number here. It's my is. 60% is my percentage, so I can put that here. 60 is out of 100, so I'm just missing this number. Again, I can use my cross products, or I can see 30 and 60 have a relationship here. I'm probably going to do half of that, so it's going to be 30 out of 50 equals 60 out of 100. Moving on. They want us to use the percent equation for these next couple of questions. Of course, you could set up your proportion. That would be fine. What percent of 80 is 60? You would set it up like this. Here's your proportion. We don't know what the percent is. It's going to be out of 100. Is 60, that's your is number, that's your top number. And it's going to be out of 80. So 60 out of 80 equals a percent out of 100. But they want you to use an equation. So the percent equation, you'll see it in your book if you're having a little trouble with this or you need a little bit more, a few more examples. But it goes like this. Part, or the portion, equals the percent times the whole. So we have a percent. We're not quite sure what the percent is, so we'll call this P. And then the whole thing, the whole amount, that's what this is right here. When it's out of something, that's the whole. So we're going to take our percentage and multiply it times 80. And somehow that's going to make 60 over here. That's the part. Well, once I divide by 80 on both sides, by 80, I can see here 60 over 80, 6 over 8, 3/4. My percent is going to end up equaling, my P is going to end up equaling 0.75. So that's as a decimal. My percentage is 0.75 as a decimal, and that is 75% in its percentage form. I'll do the same thing here. What number is 115% of 60? So again, part equals percent times the whole. And so what's my percent? I've got 115, but I'm going to write it as a decimal. It's out of 60, so I'll multiply that times 60. And that should give me my part, or my portion. When I take 1.15 and I multiply it times 60, though, and do this the long way, I have 2 decimal places here. That ends up being 69 is my part. Now that might look a little funny because the part is actually bigger than the whole thing. But remember, we're dealing with 115%, so that's even more than the original amount. So just keep that in mind. There are problems like this where it's over 100%. You can't just rely on always using the smaller number as the part and the bigger number as the whole number. It's not always the case. All right, so for this last one, it says use the percent equation. You can do whatever you want. 7 is 28% of what number? I like to use is over of equals percent out of 100 because it's super simple and quick. you guys will have 7 is, so that's my top one. It's equal to 28% out of 100. I'm just missing this number here. You can use your cross products. I can see 7 goes to 28. You multiply times 4 here. So I'll divide by 4. So this is going to end up being x equals 25. That's going to be your answer. All right, finally, one last question before we're all done, and I'll turn you loose on your homework. You're supposed to find the percent. If I leave a $7 tip on a $35 dinner bill, when they bring the check back to me, it's $35. I leave a $7 tip. Is that a good tip? Well, let's check it out. 7 out of 35 is going to be what percent out of 100? That's the quick, simple, easy way to do it. When I figure this out, it looks like I'm going to do 7 times 100 divided by 35. That's a quick shortcut way of doing it. But my cross products are going to be equal. As I look at it here, it ends up being 20%. So, ladies and gentlemen, now that you've made it all the way through, I'm just going to ask that you guys go to your homework assignment. I believe that's going to be page 179. Make sure I'm going to double check. It was page 179. You're going to do numbers 4 through 28, the evens. Check with Mrs. Allen to make sure that that's the correct page number and the correct numbers. And then you'll get started. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Well, it's not going to be the weekend. You'll see me on Friday before your weekend, but work hard and get everything done so you don't have any homework tonight. Thanks a lot, guys.